I've lived in many countries. My family's from Morocco, you know, could be considered a third world country. When I go to Morocco, I don't feel like it is. I lived in Saudi for 3 years, so I'm like pretty much a multicultural chick, you know, I've traveled. So coming to India wasn't scary, and also being someone who was well versed with Hindi cinema, and we grew up watching Bollywood films, like I think I've told you that before. So I wasn't going to have any cultural shock at all, that I knew. But I think what was something that I didn't expect was the struggle in the journey, that I didn't anticipate. My first ever job was as a retail sales associate in a mall which was right next to my high school. So I would finish my classes. Yeah, I was 16-ish. Yeah, I was 16. I had to work for many reasons. There was a lot of financial issues in my family, and I was supposed to be the one that would step up to the plate and kind of become a breadwinner as such. And I was working in a men's clothing store, so I was selling suits and I was putting outfits together. And after that, I did numerous of things. I waitressed in restaurants, I waitressed in bars, I waitressed in, you know, shawarma places. I did everything. I worked at telemarketing offices, selling lottery tickets, like cold calling people, like, "Hi ma'am, do you want to buy this ticket?" And 90% of the time they'd be like, "Duh," you know? So worked on commission, worked at McDonald's once, I did everything. When I was a little bit younger, because I'm still young, I had regrets. But then as I grew up and I became more mature and I experienced life, I realized it's the wrong way to look at life. You can't have regrets because everything happens for a reason. Everything is connected. So if something happens at a point in your life where you're like, "God, I should have not done this, I should have not took this opportunity, I should have not, you know, had this person in my life," or whatever it is, later on you realize it happened for a reason, for your growth.
I had the biggest shock of my life, the biggest slap in the face when I arrived, and the struggle I went through, the bullying, the rejection, the traumatic experience I went through. If I knew that before going to India, if someone told me, "This is all the things you're gonna go through, you're gonna meet evil people, they're gonna steal your passports, you're gonna get deported, you're gonna go back to Canada, people are gonna laugh at you and say, why did you go anyways? How do you leave a developed country to go to a developing country? Then you're gonna go back to India and you're gonna fight, you're gonna learn the language, you're gonna learn the language, you're gonna learn the language. And you're going to meet people who are going to laugh at you on the way. Whenever you try to speak, they're going to laugh on your face." That happened to me all the time. You know how many times I would spend hours and weeks and months and years with my Hindi diction coach and Hindi teacher to learn the language, and he would uplift me and he'd be so positive and say, "You are doing so good, Beta, you're speaking so well. I'm so proud of you." And he'd make me so confident. And I would go to a casting director or I'd go to an audition, and they would know I'm not Indian, and they would call me specifically and say, "The lines are in Hindi, can you do it?" I'd say, "Yeah, I'll try my best." And I would do them and they would laugh in front of me. During the take, they would start laughing together, high-fiving each other. And I get so angry and I would have this dirty attitude and I'd be like, "What's so funny?" Nothing. No, what's so funny? Because like you were like hilariously laughing like hyena. What's so funny? No, it was cute. And I would leave. And that time I was traveling in a rickshaw. I didn't have a car. And I'd stand in the middle of the road and it's always raining. SubhanAllah, it's always raining when happens. And it's raining and I'm like hailing the rickshaw, he's coming and I'm crying and I'm like, you know, that time I was living in an area called Vera Desai Road. So I'd be like, "Maya, Vera Desai Road." And I'd be crying, be like, "Huh?" I'd be like, "Vera Desai Road, chill." And he would take me and I would go and I'd howl and cry in the rickshaw. And the rickshaw driver is like traumatized. He's driving and he's like looking and he doesn't know what to do. And I'm like, crying. And I pick up the phone and I call my Hindi teacher. "You said I was good. You said I was doing so good." And he'd be like, "What happened?" I'm like, "They laughed at me." That's all I would say. "They laughed at me. They laughed at me." And I would cry. And it happened so many times to me. It was so difficult because all you wanted to do was learn and be accepted. And you're learning and you are investing time and energy and you want to be so positive and you're getting the a complete opposite back. And it feels like the minute a door is opening, it's closing in your face. It's like they're opening it. They're like, hey, like, it's open, come. And you're rushing towards it, and they go right in your face. And that's what I went through for 5 years. Constantly. If it wasn't the language, it was the fact that I'm not Indian. And that would make me so angry, because I'd be like, no, but listen, like, I'm North African, I'm Arab. Like, our cultures are very similar, and I'd want to make them understand that we are so similar. Like, don't focus on our differences, focus on our similarities. And nobody cared. You know what I mean? They're like, no, you're a foreigner, you're not from here. I was auditioning with Indian girls. I would audition with other South Asian girls. I was auditioning with the world, because suddenly Bollywood became a vocal point of where actors wanted to come. Something had happened in Bollywood where people globally were coming, trying their luck. I didn't think that. I thought I was only going to compete with Indian girls. You know, I thought maybe not a lot of Indian girls wanted to do it. Maybe I might compete with like 10, 15, hundreds. I got put in a house when I landed in India. If another girl or guy went through that and they lost hope, that would have been one more person in the world that we would have lost. Could have been a great person. They could have made an impact in the world. They could have made a difference in the world. And I wish parents would instill hope and confidence and prepare them for what's out there. And I wish our school system did the same thing, because everything I learned in school didn't help me for the real world. Metamorphosis and what type of rocks there are in the world, and you know what happens when the planet hits the sun at 4 p.m. That didn't help me for the jungle. And I always think about the necessity of your upbringing at home. Instead of our parents, like when I say our, I say globally, anybody, instead of them being so, don't do this, don't wear this, don't go out, don't talk to this, don't do this, study, don't watch this, instead of being like that, I wish they would prepare them for the world, prepare them for marriage, prepare them for what it is to be with another human, what it is to share a life with another human, prepare them for what it is to work, to go and work for yourself and to create an identity. Prepare them for the workforce. The workforce is not an easy place. The kind of things women and men face, we're not prepared for that. And two things happen: either they ruin you for life or they make you for life.